Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Error 404, Mental Health Not Found. I have been getting some questions from people recently since this is a new channel. A lot of wonderful feedback from people and to create this open and loving environment that I'm trying to create here where people don't have to be afraid, don't have to worry about the stigma surrounding mental health and things like that. But the biggest question I've been getting lately is why? Why now? Why do this? I'm about to turn 40 years old next month in October, and it seems like something that if I was going to do this, something I would have done a long time ago. Sure, maybe, but I thought I would make a quick video kind of detailing some of the reasons that I have decided to take this route. I figured it was easier to do this than to try and incorporate it into the first episode. So, I'm going to back up a little bit. Mental health is a big thing for me. Not only is it something that I struggle with a lot, and when I say I struggle with it, I mean I struggle with it a lot. And but it's something that I feel like had I had the right environment or the resources available to me when I was younger, it wouldn't have affected me as much as it has as an adult. So that's kind of been a trigger for me a little bit. But it's only been within the past couple of years that I've really kind of laid into getting these issues that I've had kind of worked out and try and figure out, what am I going to do about this? And it was in that search, trying to discover myself, trying to look inside myself to figure out how I want to tackle these, how I need to tackle these things, that I ran into a roadblock. And I think it's a roadblock that so many people have. There just wasn't adequate safe space. It was really difficult to find any kind of environment where I felt comfortable kind of diving into these things with anybody. It was either, talking with strangers, which who knows who that is, or chats online in support groups. And neither of those things really they never really worked for me. I do have a full-time therapist, and trust me, I make her work for her money. And it was kind of her suggestion that I start to find another way to express myself a little bit. And she originally had suggested journaling. And I love the idea of journaling. I really, really do. And I know a lot of people who do journal, and it works great for them. It's something they do every day, and it lets them get their thoughts out on paper and everything. But I knew that wasn't going to work for me. What my brain wanted was to have a connection to what these feelings and emotions and things, struggles that I deal with are. And just writing them out didn't do that for me. I felt like that wasn't really acknowledging them. It was just me scribbling. So that kind of prompted me to start looking for other avenues. And when I couldn't really find anything, I said to myself one day, if I can't figure this out, if I can't find a space that's safe and comforting for anyone who is struggling with any kind of mental health issue, then I need to make one. And that's where Error 404 was born, out of this need to create an environment where people can get together and they can be open and not be judged, and really just talk about the things that they need to talk about with people who are going through a lot of the same similar things. And at the same time, it's a good opportunity to be able to teach people different avenues of mental health, different afflictions, different disorders, different conditions that affect people on a day-to-day basis. And it's more people than you may be aware of. We are not alone in this wacky, crazy world that we live in. And it's a shame that mental health has this stigma and shame associated with it, because there's so many of us And if we just got together, we can eliminate that stigma. We can take away that shame. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now I live in Chicago now with my husband. We've been here for 8 or 9 years. I can't remember which now, but I remember growing up in Minneapolis. I did not have the support network that I needed, and I was young, and this was in a time where we didn't have computers in our pockets. In fact, when I first started noticing my mental health issues, computers in homes really wasn't a thing yet. So I didn't have access to the information that would have been wonderfully helpful in finding help. And I was too young to really go about knowing how to ask about it. And then the thought of asking about it was terrifying, because that meant I had to tell somebody, I had to tell an adult what I was feeling. And all of these feelings, like I've heard so many people in my life over my younger years say, like, mental health issues are not really an issue. They're something that we just create on our own, and we're looking for attention, or you didn't pray hard enough, or you did something to bring it on your own. And the idea of admitting to the mental health issues was really terrifying. But then add in the concept of seeking help, not a chance. It was never going to happen, because I felt like it was such a weakness to try and do that. So I went through a lot of my childhood into my adolescence and into my adulthood with these notions that, yes, I'm broken, but yes, it's also my fault, and I did something, or it's something I didn't do, or whatever the case may be. But then getting help, that was just the most shameful thing you could do. And it took me decades to finally pull out of that and recognize that, wait a minute, I'm not actually broken. I'm just different. And that these mental health afflictions that I have, they do cause problems in my life, but they also cause a lot of superpowers, is what I like to term them as, especially with things like my ADHD. I have severe ADHD. I have my entire life, but it wasn't until I was an adult that I started getting medicated for it and was able to start controlling a little better. But it causes problems, but also when it comes to something that I'm really interested in, that I'm really passionate about, it's something that allows me to zero in on it and follow it through to completion without getting distracted. And that's what this is. That's what all of this is. This is my love letter, my passion project, not just for myself, but for anyone out there who feels different, that feels like their brain just doesn't operate the same way as other people's brain does. And I think it's very important that everybody out there know that whatever you're going through, whatever feeling you have in your head, whether it be ADHD or depression or anxiety or OCD or autism, any of these things, you're not broken. You're exactly how you're meant to be. And we've been conditioned to see these things as a negative, and they don't have to be. They don't have to be. And I choose to acknowledge them, and I choose to be open about them, because if choosing to be open and putting this out there allows other people to feel empowered to do the same, that's what this is about. This is about changing society's view. And to those who don't want to change, to those who are going to say that mental health is non-existent, that it's not something that people actually suffer from,